Right, get my gumboots on in case we go in the river, because I'm going to go take a walk up to the spring to have a look at the water supply to see if it's all okay. To get Lula ready, and we're going right up there beyond the hill. See you up there. I'll get myself over this gate, which is of course easy enough, but the grass is quite long at the moment because my mower's broke. Dead mower in there. And when you climb over these gates, you've got to climb over hinge side, because you put too much pressure on them otherwise. Come on, Lula. Lula just bounds through. Go on, go. Here's my two friendly cows. They do scare me a bit because they are a bit too friendly. And they tend to charge at you. So it's a good job I got Lula with me. Good girl, Lula. There's a nice tree there that's dead and standing. And when I get round to it, I'll chop that up for firewood next year. See the skinny one? That's, I think it's one of these, which is a hardwood tree, so I've forgotten what it's called. Canuka, I think. This is Canuka, not Manuka, it's Canuka. Canuka is taller than Manuka. And these are totras. And that's a dog. Hey! Hey! Good girl. There used to be one of these trees fallen over this ravine here, or gully, I should say. It's up here somewhere, and I tied an old cable across it to use as a handrail, but that was years ago. I don't know whether it's still here or not. I think it was through here somewhere. I get lost. No, I've missed it. It must be gone now. These things move around in the storms. Missing the action here. There's a good girl, Lula. Good girl. Good girl. There's my tank, which feeds the house, and then I'll show you in a minute where the tank is fed, but I want to go down there and check that the float is working. So this is what I call the settling tank. That pipe there is the water feed, and it goes in there first, and then there's a pipe underneath this grass that connects to there. There's a shut-off valve there as well underneath, and it balances into this tank. Oh, it's full, so it must be working. That's my house supply. So last time I was here, I installed a float valve in here, because for some reason I took it out and I've forgotten why. I'll just put that screw over there, because this used to run all the time coming from the spring. I have to screw this lid down because it disappeared one year. I didn't find it till 6 months later. So there's my float valve, which is obviously working, and working really well. Look, you can just see it dribbling in. So that will stop when the float valve comes up, I think. It stopped, yep. And it's dribbling. I push the ball down, it's dribbling in. You only need a dribble to keep it going. Don't drop the phone in the tank. Alright, so that's cool, that works. So I haven't checked that. I did it about a month ago. So I'm glad to have checked it now. Okay, I need 2 hands to screw this back on. Hey, come on. We're going into the forest. So now we're going to go into the forest to, first of all, we'll check on the cows aren't allowed in here. It's fenced off, hence why this kikuyu grass is so tall. Just sort of walk over here, and it's almost waist height and very spongy at times. Oh. So we're just going into the forest here. This is how I get into the forest. It's like a wall of vegetation. You just got to find your opening. Here we are. Hop. Oi. And here we are. It's so beautiful in here. It's cool in summer. It's out the cold wind in the winter. And it's lovely high trees. I like it. Beautiful plants everywhere. Forest floor plants. I don't know what this is called, but I think it's called a heebie-jeebie. Don't quote me on that. This is a lancewood. We've got loads of these, and they're very popular with Kiwis. Got loads of ferns. And we've got loads of this really soft grass on the floor. Obviously it doesn't get grazed by animals, and it doesn't get much sunlight either. When I first got here, cows were getting in here because of a broken fence somewhere, and it was a lot less vegetated. It was, but all this has grown up since I've been here. This wasn't here, this was all open. They just come in and chew everything down. More lancewoods. There's one here. More ferns. I don't know what that one's called. These are heebie-jeebies. Look at that lovely fern there behind. And this is the path that me and Lance cleared, because he helped me build the little down wall. I'm not swearing, it's just that it's a dam. This is the biggest lancewood I've ever seen. This is quite a thick trunk for lancewood. Apparently it's good for making bows for kids, bows and arrows. But I did try it once, it didn't work, it's too floppy. More ferns here. This is where it gets really dense through here. So we did cut this path, and it took us a few hours to cut the path through down to the stream. You can see how big the ferns get, and you can see how difficult it was to cut the path. We didn't really know where we were going. Oh hey, there's a bit of sticker left, a bit of rebar. Through the 2 trees, and we were wheelbarrowing everything down here, and here we are. We are at. See if there's more forest up there. Isn't it pretty? Hey Lula, where you gone? Hey girl. Hey. Look at that tongue. Okay, here we are. See, there's the pipe and it's floating. I didn't really want it to float, but I haven't yet worked out a way to not make it float. We built this little concrete wall with the intention of making it higher, but it's actually worked out to be quite nice, because it means I can walk in there if it gets too silty in there. Like last time we came in here to clean out this pond, the silt was over and above the level of the water, which means that the pond is not holding a lot of water. But see, but this is actually a concrete wall. Goes across there, goes in past that punga tree, and that's the starter rebars for the next section. But I say we stopped doing it because I discovered that I can get in there in my gumboots and have them not fill up with water. It's only as deep as my gumboots. I'm not going to go in there today because it's... And then at the bottom here is a pipe which we can use to wash out the silt. That's a shaped entrance at the bottom of that, whatchamacallit, and that's how fast the water is running. It actually looks like it's leaking. Oh no, it might just be coming from there, from the top. So it's just coming, I've shaped that wall so it just flows across the top. And there is mesh inside. There is mesh in there, look, inside the concrete. And this is obviously catching stuff. So the intention was to make this wall higher. But like I said, I don't really want to make it higher because it means I can get in there and not get soaked with my feet. And that pipe seems to be just below the surface. So the idea is to make this as big as possible so that we can store water in the summer. And the more store we've got, because this does run really slowly in the summer, really slowly, so I'll have to make that pipe slightly different, because obviously this is going to see, before what was happening was the water was going into that pipe all the way down the hill and up into that tank that we just saw, and it was running all the time, so it was collecting into that pipe all the time, and therefore it was basically sucking in all the debris. But now, because I've put the float valve on there, it's only dribbling into the tank when the float valve drops, so you're not getting a huge amount of suction in that pipe as we were before. So it doesn't worry so much. But I tell you what I'll do, just for fun, I'll put my screwdriver in my pocket and we'll undo this pipe, because it's always a bit of a laugh to undo this. This is just a plumber's screw cap, and it should come out with silt, and we'll just drop the level. Woo! See, one day maybe put a hydro on there, but I'm not sure if we've got the flow. I mean, you only need the hydro in winter when there's no sun. You just need it to supplement your solar. So, this is flowing like crazy in the winter, of course, when it's raining. There it goes. Woohoo! So look, you can get in there now and you can just see the hole that I made, and there isn't really a lot of silt in there at the moment, so I'm not going to get in there and uncover it or flush it out. See, now my pipe is exposed, so I'm going to close this off now. That should be fun. Now my pipe is exposed. Wow! It's not as much pressure as you might think. Yeah. So now my pipe is actually sticking out there. Looks like a little armadillo in there, but it's not. It's just a bit of mud, and there's the shadow of a fern leaf, a dead fern leaf. But that's what's above it. So we get all the leaves and everything in there. You can hear the water running down the hill now, galloping down the hill. And that's my water supply. That's everything. So I do drink that. Doesn't look very clear, but when it comes out my tap, I'll show you later, it is clear. So we will, I might just wait to make sure that that pipe is covered. That's next door's horses. That's next door, that's not mine. A fence up there. That bit of hill is next door, so this stream is mine. But next door is the source of the spring where this comes from. And even next door to that, actually, this is one over where this spring originates. We think there could be multiple springs. So now's the time to see if there's any leaks, because it's not flowing over the top anymore. So I'll check this wall to see if there's any water flowing out. It's hard to tell because the wall is wet from where it was previously running over the top. I think that's okay. This cap has got a leak in it. This cap is dripping quite heavily too, so next time up I'll bring some tape. Just cracked the branch. I'll bring some PTFE tape up next time and put that on there and fix that. These are notorious for leaking, these caps. They don't come with a rubber seal in them. I've had that leak job before. Yeah, so this will fill up with silt, most especially after a big rain, a heavy storm, you know, one that lasts a day or two or something like that. And this is predominantly clay, this area. Clay here, but there's sandstone right there. Most of the bed of this creek is sandstone. See, that's sandstone there. So that's just compressed hard clay, isn't it, geologists? I just had an idea. I might get in there and let's make that pipe sink a little bit. Let's see if I can do this without falling in. See, this little area here is where I used to collect the water. There is a tiny little concrete wall there, which I made with one bag. I left this in here last time I was here. I just want to put that under the water now, make it lower. And then a storm came and washed it out, so we didn't get the collection anymore. But that's where it used to be. It used to be tiny, only the size of a kitchen sink. And then, of course, I realised that the bigger your dam, the more water you've got and the longer it lasts. So, as you can see, it's not that deep. And that's where it goes over there. So, right, that pipe's in a much better position than it was. It's still not under the water, but I've hit the bedrock with that stick, so I'll just have to wait. Ideally, the collection pipe should be about an inch or two below the surface, so you don't get all the leaf material in the pipe. And then, of course, you could always put, I used to have a filter on there all the time, but the filter just gets blocked up, and if it's in the silt, it just gets blocked up. So That's why I put the float valve in the tank, so that I'm not sucking water in all the time in that black pipe. Right. Very Lord of the Rings, isn't it? You just imagine Ewoks barreling down there, fighting someone. It's Darth Vader or someone. Yeah, the Ewoks from Lord of the Rings. Right, should we make our way to the... Is it worth going down there and checking the airlock or the silt in the pipe? This pipe goes down and then back up again. For no other reason than I couldn't make it level. This is running downhill and it's got undulating bits in it, so it gets airlocks in it a lot. And when you get airlocks, nothing moves because air compresses. Water doesn't compress much, I suppose. It might compress if it goes to ice, I don't know. But air compresses. So if you get a piece of air in the pipe, it'll just keep squeezing like that, and it won't allow the water to go through. Obviously the flow isn't very strong at the moment. It hasn't rained for a good week, only short showers, so last time we were here this was flowing quite well and it literally filled up in 5 minutes, and this slows down to a real trickle in the summer, like a really slow trickle, like as much as that drip down there that you saw. Yeah, so for no reason other than that's all the pipe I had, down at the other end where it goes up the hill, it changes from 25mm pipe to, I think it's 12mm or 15mm irrigation pipe, which you're not supposed to use for drinking water, but yeah, I don't care. Anyway, you can use it just goes up in a small uphill in a smaller pipe, and that probably does restrict the flow a little bit, but because it's balanced, the tank is lower than that. I've done an altimeter on that collection, and although the pipe goes downhill quite a number of meters, about maybe 30 or 40 meters, that pipe goes downhill. So the pressure at the bottom of that pipe is tremendous. It's really huge. And if I wait a while, I'll make sure that pipe's connected, and that pipe's got water again. I might show you. So I'll come back to that. I've got to make my way through to the connection. So I'll just go the long way round because I don't really like scrambling through the bush. I've never seen any wildlife in here. Just hear the birds. Once my old dog, the Dalmatian, he found a possum in here.